please stand up for the singing of the national anthem of Indonesia and Philippines, and to be followed by the doxology in Islam and Christian.
Indonesia tanah airku, tanah tumpah darah. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pandu hidup. Indonesia kebangsaanku, bangsa yang tanah airku. Marilah kita bersatu, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya, untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Banyak wajib bersihkan tangan, tangan berpusul seperti kue-kuai. Lumpang pikiran berkenan memiliki, zaman bertubi di posisimu. Sangat Allah sesungguhnya saja dikembangkan, jangan bantulah atau bersama kebenaran. Amistad pertama kita tumpai tanah ini, aku pertama dan mampai berdiri. Luana mana partai kita, saya bisa kirimu. Amin hidayah dan baik berkati, sampai dalam dari saya.
Doa sebelum belajar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi zidni ilman warzuqni fahma. Artinya, ya Allah, tambahkanlah aku ilmu dan berikanlah aku rizki akan kepahaman.
Thank you so much. You may take your seats. And now let's hear a message and also welcome message to all the speakers and also participants from the Education and Culture Attaché of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia, Ibu Lili Nurlaili.
Thank you, Mbak Manet. Good morning, selamat pagi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. My Honorable Professor Adrian Guinto from PUP, Polytechnic University of Philippines. Yang saya hormati Bapak Tusino, M.Pd. from Muhammadiyah. Yang saya hormati my Honorable Bapak Syahrul. And my Honorable Professor Edi Suandi from Muhammadiyah. And Pak Syahrul, Pak Adam Jerusalem, and from the Diktilitbang Muhammadiyah. Thank you. This is implementation what we are to do after 2 years. We are signing MOU between PUP and Muhammadiyah. Around 2018, 30 university from Muhammadiyah is coming in Philippines and then signing MOU between 30 university and then with PUP and with CEU, Centro Escolar University. And today I make it its implementation, one of the MOU. That is because of the situation, I make the implementation only webinar using online. I hope this implementation, this webinar is useful for the PUP and for Muhammadiyah. Thank you again. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Ibu Lili Nurlaili. And now, to officially open this program, let's hear the opening remarks from the Vice Chairman of the Council of Higher Education, Research and Development, Professor Dr. Edi Suandi Hamid. Kepada Bapak, kami persilakan.
Terima kasih, thank you. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable the Education and Culture Attaché Republic of Indonesia in Manila, Ibu Dr. Lili Nurlaili, Honorable Professor Adrian Guinto from PUP, and also the speakers, Mr. Syahrul from Muhammadiyah Kupang, and also Mr. Tusino from Muhammadiyah Purworejo, and my colleague, Dr. Adam Jerusalem from the Council, and distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, praise, gratitude to God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us with good health and great opportunity to join this webinar series. And second one, also, I would like to convey the apology from Professor Lincoln Laksat, the Chairman of Council of Higher Education, Institution and Research of Muhammadiyah, for not being able to come to this opening session of this webinar series due to the other forum, which is he should pending also in this time. On behalf of the Council of Higher Education, Institution and Research of Muhammadiyah, I would like to thank to Mrs. Lili Nurlaili, PhD, the Attaché of the Education and Culture of Indonesian Embassy in Manila, as well as of all staff of Indonesian Embassy in Manila for organizing this webinar series that I think this will be benefit for all of us. I would also to thank to the speakers, both from Manila and from Muhammadiyah, and to all the participants who will take a part in this 5 days series events. We hope this forum will give us knowledge and experiences in managing our universities in the pandemic COVID era. The activity that we are carrying today and the following days, I think, is part of the implementation of the collaboration that has been made between the Council with Indonesian Education and Culture Attaché in Manila, PUP, and also CEU, and other universities in 2018. As mentioned before by Ibu Attaché, around 1.5 years ago, big delegation from Muhammadiyah Higher Education Council and also director of the Muhammadiyah Universities visited Manila. During that visit, we had signed MOU with several universities in Manila, including, I think, from Professor Adrian universities. We hope that beside the webinar series, the various cooperation agendas that had been signed in MOU can be followed by the real action programs by Muhammadiyah Higher Education Institution and also by higher education partners in Manila. The implementation of the collaboration, I think, is very important for us, especially for Muhammadiyah, because we want to create our universities of our Muhammadiyah universities as a competitive, excellence, and progressive higher education institution. As we know, currently under Muhammadiyah, there are 164 higher education institutions, which 57 of them are universities. All of these higher education institutions of Muhammadiyah expected to be able to establish international collaboration, or in order to give value added to all lecturers and also for the whole students. We hope the students after graduation, for instance, can have a global outlook and so can work anywhere in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the topics of the webinar series, I think, very relevant for all of us who work in higher education institutions or in universities, namely COVID-19 beyond pandemic issue, impacts to education sector. We know that COVID-19 is not only a matter of health. These problems are concern all sectors in our life. In this happen across the world. For the higher education sectors, COVID-19 has drastically changed the teaching pattern or the teaching methods, changing from conventional models with face-to-face to online system. We must prefer various devices and systems to support this online learning or online teaching. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is not only of the impacts. Many other problems have hit or beat the universities of the education sector as a whole. The problems is related to the preparation of various supporting facilities for online lecturers, such as Wi-Fi, modules, video, audio, Wi-Fi access, etc. Also, we face the problem of decreasing in the number of new students. Late payment of tuition fees. More and more students are asking for college leave and so forth. Therefore, the current webinar series is very important and relevant to us. This is as a media or forum for us to exchange experiences and learn from one and another. I hope that this forum, with this forum, will get a variety of lessons to be applied in our higher education institution or colleges, so that they can carry out the education process well in this COVID-19 era. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Lili and also Prof. Adrian, finally, once again, on behalf of Central Board of Management of the Council of Higher Education, Research and Development of Muhammadiyah, I would like to say thank you very much for your attention. I wish that we will discuss today will get maximum benefit for all of us. Have a discussion and brainstorming, and by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Suandi Hamid. And now, the webinar series between COVID-19 and the pandemic issues and impact to education sector is officially open. To begin with, let's hear the keynote speaker for today's webinar, She is the Education and Culture Attaché of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia, not other than Dr. Lili Nurlaili. Kepada Ibu, kami persilahkan.
Thank you, Mbak Manet. Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Today, I just want to give sharing or presentation about my presentation about new school year with new rules. New changes that need special attention. Distance learning is likely to be preserved. Maybe we make a hybrid model. The use of technology in teaching and learning activities will be fundamental. Gives campus opportunities to do a variety of learning modeling, mental attitude that support the acceleration of the culture of innovation, learning approaches that accelerate the realization of student-centered learning, a combination of physical and virtual learning, creative and innovative and good collaboration. Setting up a new normal era in education, clean the environment by spraying disinfectant, complete supporting facilities and infrastructure for hand washing in each class, invite society to socialize the new normal movement and ask for support from them. Establish cooperation with the health department and ask the minimum health care staff nurses to be in the school environment once a week to conduct student examination with the aim that if there are students showing symptoms of COVID-19 can be immediately laid off. Carry out the learning process in two shifts or two waves, morning and afternoon. Maybe I give explanation in here. In Philippines, they have a two shift. They already have two shifts, morning and afternoon. But Indonesia, from basic education, junior and senior and vocational, we don't have a two shift. We only one shift from the 7 in the morning until 3 and at the afternoon. E-learning is divided into two, namely synchronous. Synchronous is a learning process with the same time or real time. For example, teachers can interact online with students. Learning like this can be done with the Zoom application, Google Meet, and others. While an asynchronous is a learning process by looking at material that has been prepared previously in the form of learning video. Barriers of the online learning process, technology facilities, internet network, teacher readiness, and good learning content must be immediately sought for a solution. Indonesia, we have a 12 platform or application that can be accessed by students to study at home. First is Rumah Belajar. Is an online learning application developed by the Ministry of Education and Culture with the aim of providing alternative learning resources by utilizing technology. There are various features such as learning resources, virtual laboratories, digital classes, question banks, electronic school books, cultural maps, language and literature work, and other features that can be utilized by teacher and student for free. You can open that. This is the link. Next, number 2, our desk or meja kita. The presentation of the material is done thematically and is equipped with the discussion forum that can be used for question and answer. Meja Kita provides free and fairly complete learning materials from elementary and high school, as well as thousands of notes that have been uploaded by students in student communities through Indonesia. Meja Kita supports students who have to study at home to still be able to discuss homework, question, and assignment, as well as share notes and other learning material. You can open that link http Meja Kita. Number 3 is I Can Do, is a children's education application that has a learning program that is in accordance with the 2013 revised curriculum in Indonesia, which was developed comprehensively with hundreds of mini games that will increase children learning motivation at PAUD, that is early children. Download and play I Can Do. Number 4 is Indonesia X, has experience in supporting the provision of access to learning for the community through quality courses delivered by the nation-based instructor. Since its launch on August 17, 2015, Indonesia X has been committed to improving the intelligence of the nation through the provision of free online courses to reduce disparities or educational disparities in the country. Number 5, Google for Education, to support online learning, especially those applied by various regions in COVID-19 pandemic issue. Google for Education provides serving using Chromebook and G Suite that allow virtual learning even with low internet connectivity. Number 6 is Smart Class, is provider of educational support system in the digital age that uses the latest technology to help students and teachers create the best teaching and learning practice. Number 7 is Microsoft, provide Office 365 service that can be used by teachers and students for free and not a trial version. Office 365 can be accessed and updated in real time, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Microsoft Teams, as well as other classroom features. Teachers and students only need to set up an email address with the school domain. That is under is the link. By teachers Number 8, and students for free and not innovative ways of learning for teaching and learning. This platform easily supports teachers to manage assignment and homework more effectively. So the teacher can recognize the strengths and weaknesses of students more easily. That is under is the link. Number 9 is Ruang Guru. Is a technology-based learning service, including virtual classroom services, online exam platform, subscription learning videos, private tutoring market, and other educational content that can be accessed through the web and Ruang Guru application. Ruang Guru provides free online school during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are 250 teacher training video and module that can be utilized for the next 1 month in the Ruang Guru application. That is under is link of Ruang Guru Sekolah Online. Number 10 is the name is Your School. In the unlimited learning program, your school provides live streaming of subject with the level provided. Your school foster competence in all and every child at different ages and level. Your school has become a collaborative node for hundreds of schools and organizations related to the work, providing curriculum program that meet your needs. That is under the link. 11, Zenius has an independent learning program at home. We call that is Bisa Bareng. Bisa Bareng is mean we can together. By providing tens of thousands of video of complete learning material for elementary, junior high school for curriculum 2010 and 2010 revised curriculum 2013 revised curriculum. Besides that, students can access complete learning material for the preparation for UNBK. UNBK is national examination using computer, UTBK, SPMB, dan on UTUL, ujian tulis or writing examination from UGM, University of Gajah Mada. The content provided in this program can be accessed free of charge. We can open that the link. And then 12 Cisco Webex teachers will teach as usual through video, including sharing presentation, content, and interacting with the digital whiteboard via computer or smartphone screen. In addition, Cisco Webex also provides digital messaging-based classroom so that teachers students can continue to discuss and share material through the group that feature on the Cisco Webex Teams that we provide. That is the link. Thank you, maraming salamat. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Ibu Lili. Thank you so much, Ibu Lili, for your presentation and also sharing us the web platforms that can be used by the students at home in Indonesia. And now we will proceed to our next session, which is the presentation of the guest speaker. For today, we have three guest speaker, and we would like to encourage our participants that after the three speakers presented their presentation, you may ask your question. You may type it in the Q&A, and then later we will address your question to the speakers. Kepada peserta kami ingin menyampaikan, jika ingin bertanya, bisa diketikkan di bagian Q&A. Pertanyaan akan dibuka setelah tiga pembicara selesai menyampaikan paparannya. And now, let's proceed for the first guest speaker. We have here from Universitas Muhammadiyah Kupang, Mr. Syahrul, S.Pd, M.Pd. Mr. Syahrul, you may start your presentation. Q&A.
Syahrul, mau ditolong dari sini PowerPoint-nya?
Itu Pak Syahrul dibuka dulu, itu unmute dulu.
Suaranya di-unmute dulu, suaranya. Oke.
Oke.
PowerPoint-nya mau dibantu dari sini atau Bapak yang operasikan?
Saya yang share, Bu.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih.
Wait. Can I share screen?
Okay, while waiting, we can inform everyone that the presentation or the e-material will be shared later after the three presenter, after this webinar. We will share a link to all the participants as well as for the certification. Or for the certificate, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's great honor and pleasure to join here. I think this webinar are very good to me. And first, I will thank you so much for Majelis Diktilitbang in PP Muhammadiyah in Yogyakarta, also KBRI in Manila, and Polytechnic University of Philippines. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm here to represent Universitas Muhammadiyah Kupang, exactly in Department of Sociology Education. So I think that this webinar is very interesting to me because I can share my experience in Timor Island. So that my experience I will show you. And this is my presentation that I will show you 3 points. First, social condition before COVID-19 pandemic in Timor Islands, and social condition during COVID-19 pandemic in Timor Island. And the last, the education policy we are taking Universitas Muhammadiyah Kupang to face COVID-19. So based on my experience and that I feel here right now here in Island, Timor Island, I took the topic that the dilemma of Timor's education in COVID-19 pandemic. So I will show you introduce who is the Timorese. Timorese is a people who live in Timor Island. We know that in 1998, they divided in 2 countries. namely Indonesia and Timor-Leste. However, now Timor had lived in several islands in N.T.T. province or all island in Indonesia. So based on the map, I show you the small island, but there are two country. West Timor is Indonesia country. East Timor is Timor-Leste. So I think that the citizen here the same as culture, but also they have the same case. And I think that this before the pandemic and education. And we look at the border here in Indonesia, border that Atambua in Kepamanu. This is rural place and marginal places. And now I stay here in Kupang city, so this is central place. And I think that different case in society here. And I know that also in Indonesia, Timor Island, the different case in another island Indonesia, like Java and Celebes in Bali. So I know that they are high quality of technology. But if we talk about in East Timor, particularly in uh, uh, Timor Island, I found that in based on my experience that are different, and I think we are very confused to face the COVID-19 right now. So I next show you in how about the condition of society here. Most of Timorese are poor and low education because they are live in the rural, marginal, and backward place. And also they are difficult to access the internet and other technology. As a result, we found many Timorese cannot access formal education. So we look at the picture, and they are on the right, on the left side that there are people sit in front of their home and look at the behind their home. So this is situation here. And if you talk about in how about the technology here, so they are very far of technology and situation. How about the condition of society? So the condition, I think that it's very part of how to face their COVID-19 right now. And I think also they have this culture here, but I think it is very beautiful. But we think about in how about in economy and technology sector. So we look at the second picture that in how about the income of society there. And most of the Timorese, they are work on the garden agriculture sector. So they have home and nature situation, and they build home. There is no technology construction. So I think this situation here, and I saw that your fact. But this is a rural place, and I think that different in capital city here. But if you visit in village, you found that the situation are like this. So I will show you more that in situation in how about school. And I think about that is school. So you can look at the situation and condition of Timor's education before the COVID-19 pandemic. And before the COVID-19 pandemic, Timor's have many problems in educational sector because poverty, ignorance, and backward technology. And we talk about in technology that look at their building of school. So behind the children in the picture, I think that the building is very part of the height of technology in, yeah, we look at it and we found there the century, the age of technology, but society here, the condition and structure has still backward situation. And when I visit the places that I share and I try to teach the student inside the class, but I afraid. And how about if I sit in class because the construction is not good quality and sometimes the building will destroy. And but I saw the children make me motivation and support that they are very welcome the situation like this. So I think that this is a situation before the pandemic. And and the second that N.T.T. province, particularly Timor Island, is low quality education, and he became backward education rank in Indonesia. So uh, we know that in the East Indonesia, particularly in Papua and N.T.T. province, I think that different in the West. And yeah, I stay more in Celebes, Sulawesi. I found that very good education and building sector, even in Java and other island in the West. And I think they are very well. But if you compare that in the S, and particular in Timor Island, we look at their poor situation here. So I think that, yeah, I ask you and I invite you to how to imagine that how to face the uh, COVID-19 pandemic in right now. So how about in the learning process in class like this, and there are separate children here. They don't use the same clothes, and also look at the chair, table, floor, and wall. So all that in nature system, not modern and good construction they're building. And I think that I have here from the parent, the children, I asked them, why you do have their same clothes? They say that the parent have no money to buy this good clothes. Yeah, I think that we got a case like this. And I think that you look at this specifically your feet, and the children, the student, they don't wearing the shoes and slipper. So how about that? They have a habit that every day go to school without slipper and shoes. And I think I found that the situation here that, yeah, sometimes I think that how about the fallacy of education? This inequality. So the second picture that look at there, many children cannot access formal education and drop out. And yeah, I have information with my team research that actually why the parent they don't support the children study, and they say that in uh, the parent very support the children work in the garden, help the parent to found the money, and also I think they think that they want to eat today, and I think they don't think about the what about the future. So this situation, and I think why the poor situation. And as a result, COVID-19 funding has been made difficult Timorese to access a formal education again. So before the pandemic and in pandemic situation, we had their problem here right now. And I would say that in not only at school, but all university in Kupang City, we get the same problem. We are difficult to help online learning, and also we want to help education like in school and university, but we are afraid to spread their COVID-19. So I show you the condition here in pandemic COVID-19. The COVID-19 in Timor's education, the condition of Timor's education in COVID-19 pandemic, and look at the learning process in COVID-19 pandemic. So I put in sociology perspective, I got to dualism. So how to help education in COVID-19. And we can help their strategy that indirect social interaction or direct social interaction. But sometimes that yeah, I hear that, and also based on several research in Indonesia, I found that they held their strategy, both strategy, and I think that different in Timor's Island. So indirect social interaction, there are two characteristics: online, distant learning, learning using application. On the right side, direct social interaction, there's also two characteristics: learning without distance, direct learning with the teacher. So both situation that several school and university, particularly in Muhammadiyah Kupang, we try to took this two strategy. And this is condition of Timor's education. And look at the on left side, that's study from home. Study from home also got the problem, such as study from home by the parents, only a few parents can do it. Study from home by a teacher, only a few students can access the internet. So the case of situation, and we know that here we are very difficult to access the internet connection. So one way we have choose, and we hold the private study. Private study, this one strategy, we are do door to door by a teacher, but I think only a few teacher can do it, because they have a problem that the teacher also help because they are very exhausted and very tired to help and visit door to door. And most of door to door strategy I found in research in several islands like Java and Sulawesi. I look at the teacher they did. So among this situation that among their strategy, we put in ourselves, in fact, we ourselves in the dilemma of Timor's education. Because if we choose indirect social interaction by study from home, we go there is education. Learning is not conducive. So on the right side, if we look at the direct social interaction by a private study, we got the risk society. So we got the effect of the COVID-19, and I think we got their situation. So I will more detail explain your situation here. So the learning process in COVID-19 pandemic, indirect social interaction, so the online distance learning. The learning process is social distancing policy is very difficult to reach maximal education because education is part of human social interaction, such as interaction of individual to group, group to individuals, individual to individual, and group to group. So I think that we know that there are most of parents here that they don't know how to use the technology, smartphone, and also how to connect the internet. So if we believe that, how to parent health education their home, and I think also that it is a case, and also that social distancing in from sociology perspective. I believe that in education is part of human social interaction. So if there is distance and boundary among us, teacher and student, there is a distance and boundary. I think social interaction we can difficult to help again. Express everything that I think it is very difficult to help learning process. So this is a sociology perspective that I believe. And the second, learning using the application. The learning process through an application is difficult to use maximal because human social interaction emotionally cannot be done. While in the learning process, the teacher should know that the characteristic and social condition of the student, whereas students should directly interaction and their teach understand the subject. So I think also that there one key of how to help learning process, and we should how to grow the emotional relation. And without emotional relation among student and teacher, I think how to help learning process. So emotional relation cut their situation like in their application, and there is distance and there is a boundary, and I think we are difficult to grow their emotional relation. So I think that this is a case, and also right now that we held in indirect social interaction by learning process. I think that we are why we are found, and I saw the several research that they say that in is not accurate. So and on the left side that the right side that in there is another choose again option again. Direct social interaction, learning without a teacher. The learning process is effective because it builds a social relation between teacher and student. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, this learning strategy is banned because direct social interaction make the transmission of COVID-19. So yeah, we are still follow the role of the government. So he is still carefully by of COVID-19. So all people here right now in this world are afraid to see this pandemic. And but I think we have they lose their strategy. So we have again their strategy. And you look at the direct learning with the teacher, direct learning in classroom did not apply again. But teacher choose another strategy, namely door-to-door learning. So I believe that door-to-door learning from several islands in Indonesia, I found that they use, but I think different of university. And from school, door to door is we look at the situation they have like this. And by another case in university, student visit their lectures, and I think that sometimes we heard from myself, and my student, I just make a time to meet with them, but there are three or two person. but not too much because we have still avoid their crowded places and also make easy to spread their COVID-19. And different with the teacher, so door to door by a teacher because a teacher should visit their student. So I think that different situation, and I think that this same case in Indonesia. So more detailed that. And Timor's education, the situation, how that the situation here. Study from home. I show you in how about in study from home here. And study from home by your parents. Most of parents are difficult to teach their children at home because they have no the ability in science and they never study at school. As a result, many parents in the Timor cannot teach their children at home and study at home cannot be done. So yeah, based on the problem that we now here is a very difficult to access the internet, very part of technology, the parent never study at formal education. And if you think about how about the parent teach mathematics, teach sociology, biography and biology, and I think that all subject that very confuse their parent. And even the parent they don't know how to read and write. So these are cases if we are if we believe that if we study from home by a parent. So how about study from home through the application by the teacher? Learning by social distancing by the teacher need technology and internet connection. While we know that most Timorese are poor and they are difficult to connect the internet. As a result, only a few teachers can do it. So also that thing I found that same condition and same problem that in uh, most of students in if we, in my university, Muhammadiyah University of Kupang, they are most of from a rural place and village. So when I help learning online learning by Zoom, also that just a few my students join in my class because uh, the reason that they have no connect, they difficult to connect the internet, their hometown, their home, their village. So I think this is a case. So yeah, I think that we are only choose the private study. So private study, I think this is one solution to health education in Timor education here in the pandemic. So this is one way that door-to-door learning by a teacher. The strategy is very effective for students, but many teachers are exhausted because many students should be visited. As a result, only a few teachers can do it. So this is a problem, and I think that also is we got their case, and I think that many teachers that are exhausted. And and I have interview with their teacher here that according to him that every day he only visit three student every day because more than three they are very tired. And I think that yeah, just do that. And also the situation here like in road and broken road, and we are very difficult to ride motorcycle, and we are visit in several village that I think that if I were him that I don't want to do that because it is a very difficult, and I think visit in several village here I think dangerous. So I will next again that situation, and I say that in we are stay in a dilemma of Timorese education because we put in situation that risk. If we choose an on the indirect social like in learning process, indirect learning and direct learning, I think both have situation, both have a risk. And yeah, the reason that why we have the dilemma here. So uh, just for myself that I confused that what I will do. So if I choose the directly learning, I think that how to help the learning process, but my student, they are difficult to access the internet. They stay their hometown, I think that very far. In their hometown, there is no internet connection. They will connect Indonesia if they come in campus and capital city. But they head back their hometown and also in several school also go the same as myself. And if I do that in direct learning with a student, I think I afraid to infect the affected the COVID-19. So this is a case. And what the risk of education? So I show you the risk. The learning process was not effectively because students did not face-to-face with the teacher. Yeah, I think I still put in sociology perspective. If we held the learning process without face-to-face, I think it's not accurate and not maximal. And the second, the student cannot express their natural competence because they cannot discuss and interact directly with the teacher and friends. So I believe that all students have a natural ability and competence, and it's really good grow if we have direct learning and discuss with the parent. So there's this stand like in student in front of in the computer. I think we got the problem. And also, if we my student, like myself, from my experience, if we have learning in Zoom, and just a few my students join in my class, and also I difficult to control them. They are sleepy or sleep, and I think that I don't know what they do in if I help in learning process by Zoom. So students are difficult to understand the subject. So the case also because they just sit in front of computer and cell phone. So student only sleepy in stay in front of computer and cell phone. And also I think that if you are more stay in front of computer, we are disturbed in our eyes. You like myself, I stay in front of computer too much, my eyes that got the trouble, and now I use glasses because these are cases if you more use in technology right now. So also we have directly in Risk Society, the student and and teacher can be infected by COVID-19. But I think that all the cases we have for in pandemic, and for myself that education will yeah, we should how to make the strategy also to help. So the last in my case right now, and my point that and the policy of education, the policy of rector in Muhammad University, and we still the risk that the risk which is taken by Muhammad University of Kupang to face COVID-19 pandemic. So first, tuition credit. Actually, tuition credit have been taken several years ago because most of students in Muhammad University from poor family, from parent, and now they were the Muhammad University Kupang, they more flexible. So all students can pay tuition fee in next semester or when we are normal again. So the second, we have been held the activity in campus, but we do not carry out a learning process in classroom because dangerous, and also we should follow the rule of the government here. And also minimizing the online learning because it is very expensive and most students come from poor family. Therefore, they are difficult to buy a computer, smartphone, and package internet connection. Even only a few students have computer and smartphone. If they have a smartphone, they have no package internet. Yeah, when I have asked my student, why did you join in my class? And he said that they have no package internet to connect the internet. Yeah, I think that this is some case, and when I have read in several research here in pandemic, so they got the same in online learning very expensive, and also I got the problem also like this. So as a result, most of lecture take a private study to solve the problem here. And Muhammad University we are still keep in private study like in face to face, and I just ask my student, just two person come and have learning to me. So more than 3 person I don't want because this we got the risk, and I don't want to infect the COVID-19. So this my presentation. I think enough. Thank you for attention.
Thank you so much, Bapa Syahrul, for your presentation and sharing us the situation in Timor Island. So it's really hard, yeah, Bapa, yeah, because of the situation.
Yes.
Pandemic will affect this education. As you also said that even before the pandemic, it's already for the formal education. It's a little bit hard because of the um, family or status problem, and then now we have this pandemic. It's another difficult, another problem. So you're really facing so much dilemma. As you mentioned, it's really hard for the students to go to the school because as we all know, this pandemic is really dangerous. So many families and students are afraid to be infected, and also if they don't go to school, it's also difficult because they don't have this connection or internet. So as from your side, also for the lecturer, seeing you're facing same problem as well. Everyone is really should take care of the health because if you don't have any classes, the students is really they don't receive any education, and it's really hard for the from the student and also
Yeah.
for you as well. Okay, thank you so much, Bapak
Yeah.
Syahrul.
Thank you.
And now we'll proceed to our next speaker. For the next speaker, we have here Professor Adrian Guinto from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Professor Adrian, you may start your presentation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Manette.
Sir, sorry, sir, do you want us to help you to operate?
Please, yes, please. I'm having trouble with my
Okay.
computer. All right.
We start. Sorry, sir. We would like to inform our participants again for the presentation or the e-material. We will share the link after the webinar or after the 3 speakers. We will share the link in the chat box, and then you just have to download it through the Google Drive, and also the certificates. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are we good?
Yes.
All right. So for today, allow me to introduce the topic. I'm not going to be focusing more of Indonesia because somebody did that. And I will tackle some of the pressing situation that we had. Actually, there is a similarity between the two of us regarding this one. So this is so timely and partly untimely that the education system has been greatly affected by the pandemic. So just to set the expectation, I'll be tackling about the impact of COVID-19 to the education sector, especially the higher education institutions. By the way, the Philippines has two reopening of classes for the Department of Education, which caters for the primary and secondary education. They'll be opening their class will be open sometime August 24, but the higher education, such as the colleges and university, will be what was actually scheduled this September. So we have different openings. PUP, by the way, is not supposed to open in August, even in September, but rather we were forced to because of the pandemic. The usual opening of our class is on June. So we were forced to transition early on because of the pandemic. I don't know if we're going to be so thankful about that or not be thankful, but we are actually compliant to the mandates of our Commission of Higher Education. So also I'll be tackling the mitigation processes that we had. This is an immediate response of the government regarding the pandemic in order to ensure the smooth sailing of the education system here in the Philippines, as well as the quality, even if there's still, even amidst pandemic. We also, I'm gonna be tackling also the adaptation processes that we are doing here in the Philippines. Also the post-COVID educational plan. For all you know, all of these will be channeled through the different agencies, and at the same time the adaptation will still prolong until after we find cure for the pandemic. And of course the challenges that we had, and we have at the moment, and including the recommendation. So next slide, please. Okay, for the introduction, the present COVID-19 pandemic has brought extraordinary challenges and has affected the educational sectors, and no one knows when it will end. Every country, especially the Philippines, presently implementing plans and procedures on how to contain the virus. And the infections are still continually rising. In fact, we had this, we are not flattening the curve in the Philippines right now, especially in the national capital region. In the educational context, to sustain and provide quality education despite lockdown and community quarantine, and the new normal should be taken into consideration in the planning and implementations of the new normal education policy. We're still on the planning part, and partly the implementation, because we still have to test all these protocols if it's applicable. Again, all these implementation are dependent on the needs and the ability or capability of a specific institutions, be it private or public institution. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the one I've been talking about. I'm not going to be in thorough details on this. If you're going to take a look at both sides here, you're going to take note of one specific word. The word is mitigation or mitigating processes. So I think Indonesia has been proactively doing efforts in order to address the situation, including the Philippines. This was actually released last June, regarding the higher education institution. Why June? Because prior to that, the higher education already made an effort in dealing with the pandemic. It's just that all the protocols and measures they need to provide us must be tested. And in fact, some of them are actually working. Next slide, please. So they have meeting here in Indonesia. Mostly these are private schools, by the way. I wasn't able to capture the public school here. They're discussing, most of them are the president, discussing on the proposed policies because of the COVID-19. And one of the major topics that they've discussed, even here in the Philippines, is actually the tuition fees, including the refund. I'm not sure about the Indonesian setting, but here in the Philippines, this is one of the mandates, and they're looking at it in order to mitigate the process because of, again, the difference between the private and the public sector or higher education. Next, please. Okay, now the impact here in the Philippines as part of the East Asia, one of the major challenges I would somehow empathize and possibly sympathize with Professor Syahrul because of the internet access. We may have a good quality education here, but how are we supposed to deliver them if in case there's no face-to-face contact with the students? So this is one of the major challenges that we are dealing with. The digital inequalities persist across all countries. So here in PUP, since we had this challenge, we managed to at some point produce or provide students from remote places a specific module. So we're going to be printing some, pins. So for the Indonesian sector education system, they encourage telecommunication companies to provide exceptional services to universities, especially here in the Philippines. We would want to have at least free Wi-Fi, not only for the university, rather for the remote places for our student, and also rise budget for health research. Same thing here in the Philippines, and to encourage business and industry sector to deliver joint CSR. In the Philippines, the emergency plan was actually provided early on because of the to address the pandemic. So here we have the assessment of the situation for the emergency plan. And then, of course, during the process prior to June, they facilitated alternative activities especially the pandemic. During those times that the pandemic is picking up, the university is functional in terms of its academic activities. In fact, we were scheduled, or the university is scheduled to have an what we call graduation. So everything was actually modified, including the postponement of graduation ceremonies. So we were actually affected. And for all you know, the university is a big university, and we cannot allow students or risk them to have this physical graduation because of the pandemic. And also deploy available distance learning or e-learning and other alternative modes. So right now in the university, we were asked to do the modifications of our normal subject, which translate to what we call modular form. So we have instructional material, and of course we have to provide students as well as different platforms on how are we going to deliver them using the module. Next slide, please. Okay, this is one of the mitigation I got from the Indonesia. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this was the meeting they had. So they're trying to refocus on the 315 billion rupees to support teaching hospitals and medical faculties of the state universities and volunteers here in the Philippines. The government has been proactively helping the Philippines. So they created a Republic Act 11469, which is also known as the Bayanihan to Heal to Heal as Act 1 or One Act. This enables the president to provide specific power or necessary power to carry out urgent measures, especially the release of funding. Okay, next slide, please. So the Bayanihan to Heal One Act is actually, this is one of the CHED's contribution, or the Commission of Higher Education's contribution. They contributed to 15,317,631,000. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, single agency to support the call of President Rodrigo Duterte for the entire nation. This is exclusively and inclusively for the strategies funding for the higher education system. That includes, of course, the present health crisis. So these are the mitigation process that the government is doing right now. And we are actually, I mean, the CHED is actually sincere in doing this. That's the reason why the higher education system was actually transitioned further. So we still have one more month to prepare prior to September, or the opening class for the higher education institution. Next slide, please. Okay, all state universities and colleges, this is the mandate of CHED, by the way, and local universities and colleges are now using a new academic calendar. They already transitioned some years ago, but not the PUP, because we are constrained in terms of budget when we want to transition in August. But this time, we don't have any choice at all, so we have to comply. And of course, that's what they did. So for the UAQTEA implemented on the fiscal year, this is the fiscal year funding of an academic year basis starting September. So here we are starting our opening of classes on September. I'm not sure about the date yet, but it was already cascaded to the different SUCs, LUCs, including UAQTEA, about the opening of classes on September. This is different from Department of Education, which will open on August 24. Next slide, please. So these are the breakdown. By the way, we have to be very transparent on the 15 billion fund being contributed by the Commission on Higher Education. So we want transparency, and here we have the following breakdown where exactly the 15 billion will be funded. Apart from that, other, of course, needs from the different SUCs and LUCs will be cascaded. So the major funding will be provided to the development of standard of excellence of HEIS. The pandemic will not halt or will not stop us from becoming, or producing quality education. This is not the very reason. We are being prevented from having class but not giving quality education to our students. Also, to establish the basic e-library facilities in SUCs, like in the case of PUP, we don't have so much because we are dependent on the government's funding. Financial assistance for postgraduate students. Well, the CHED can actually provide assistance through the scholarship funding. Okay. By the way, SUCs like PUP does not charge tuition fees. So this is a free university. So you could just imagine uh, this 15 billion would be more than help to facilitate the quality of education in our university. Okay. Financial assistance for the enhancement of courses and programs to social work, guidance, counseling, and psychology. The one mentioned by Dr. Lili was actually a new program that was approved by CHED in our university. So there's an online and of course regular class for that. So if you want to avail, you might want to visit the website and then try to inquire regarding the program. By the way, the College of Social Sciences and Development under psychology is one of the top program within the entire university. Basically, we produces a lot of psychologists, but the quality is actually there. Some time ago, we topped the board exam for psychology. Okay, and by the way, the university is offering online and even offline counseling. We just had the accreditation from the Psychological Association of the Philippines, including the Department of Health, which caters not only for the students who are in need in terms of medical or mental health, or health rather, also the faculty members. Also, funding requirements for trainings and programs to improve the quality of English in the tertiary level. We may be good at speaking in English, but we still have to further improve that, okay? Because this is our second language. We are still improving that, including here in our universities. In fact, we have specific programs that caters for that, okay? A portion of the funding for assistance and incentives, and of course, scholarship grants, the renovation of the central office building, that's one, and the acquisition of plot in Region 4A here in the Philippines. Next slide, please. Now, for the adaptation, these are for the institutions and the governments. These are just suggested because some are actually needs to be qualified in terms of funding. So next slide, please. For the institution, we have the diversify funding. This works with private sector partners, foundations, multilaterals, and international organizations. Well, the suggestion is actually we can borrow money from World Bank, even ask assistance from UNESCO. These are just suggestions. We also have to develop and diversify infrastructure. By the way, my job in the university, other than being a faculty member, is I'm under the Special Projects and Programs Office. So my job here is under the infrastructure. So I sell PUP in order for the other industry to make use of some of our facilities in exchange for, of course, rents, so that we can have funding in our university. In exchange to that, of course, we can offer experts on the different fields. Could be science, mathematics, or in other social sciences, okay? So this transforms digital infrastructure toward a more agile and flexible system for digital pedagogy, investing in learning science and training of faculty. Okay, we can also train industry partners with the use of our experts in the field. Like in the case of HR or human resources, we can provide you with training in terms of that, including certification program. And of course, increased collaboration. This is the very reason why we have this webinar into enhancing the collaboration with the different partners in terms of innovation of technologies, infrastructure, digital skills training. Okay, so it is being encouraged in order for us to enhance the linkages. And of course, the more we have the linkages, the more we have partnerships, the more we strengthen our the quality of a specific expertise on the field. Now, this is dependent on the specific colleges or universities, exactly how they fare against specific, like in the case of expertise, could be research, could be science or mathematics, depending on the specialization of a specific institution. In PUP, by the way, we are now establishing a culture of research. Okay, since the last president adopted this principle and up until now, it is being adopted. So, if you want to have higher ranking in the university, you have to produce more quality research, all right? And it has to be presented not only locally, rather internationally. So if you can't do that, then you stay on your usual rank. So it is being encouraged. And thanks to those institution right now that they have this initiative to partner with us. Okay, but do not expect too much from us. Just like you, we are a developing university yet. Okay, but we can offer some of the expertise that we can have or we can offer from the university. Next slide, please. We also have the position of universities as critical contributors to building national resilience. In fact, the University of the Philippines play a vital role in combating pandemic. Okay, most of the experts in the field actually came from that university. So if we want well, it's a risk, but the university has to have a stand regarding its contribution in the society and the betterment of the government, including the nation, including your country. So universities could be critical. This is a very risky thing, but it has to be critical partners in tackling challenges affecting all sectors of the society. Remember, we are producing we are producing quality education, and therefore it has to be reflected to the people coming from the universities, okay? And also provide flexible learning pathways. Introduce more aspects of flexible learning into regular face-to-face courses. In addition, introduce a variety of courses to complement national skills needs, okay? So we don't have to always focus on the academic part. We also have to hone skills. This is the very reason we adapted some time ago the K-12 program, so that most of our students, if they're not capable of going into further education, just like going to college, then skills may be good enough for them to survive on their daily basis. Okay, next slide, please. For the government, again, this is just a suggestion, okay? Different suggestions, different governments may adapt this. Develop and implement quality assurance regulations for flexible learning. So we focus on accountability and transparency. So we have to demand that, especially here in PUP, we are bound to audit everything that we do here, every bits of cash or money or donation that we can have or we can provide must go through a process called accountability and transparency. And technically, we are being audited from time to time. And draft and implement policies on the ethics and security of the technology. Now, this is a very critical situation right now because of the use of technology. Now, the Philippines has its mandate in terms of data privacy law, okay, that protects individual from being harassed or being abused using technology, okay, and the rights of the citizens to be guided properly on an ethical use of technologies, including Facebook, Twitter. So how exactly it must be used, right, ethically, and even during the crisis. Okay, next slide, please. Ms. Manette, can you transition my slide, please? Okay. Now, we have here the new normal. Of course, after this, what will happen? For the new normal, the plan was actually to wear face masks and physical distancing. So here in the Philippines, I think this is the mandate, and it becomes one of the pressing situation that if you don't wear mask, you're going to be put into jail or you're going to be fined. I don't know with other countries. And of course, physical distancing, at least 1 meter. So you could just imagine if we're going to resume classes, especially for public schools, the social distancing is not really possible. So governments around the world have issued policies and guidelines to implement physical distancing in order to flatten the pandemic curve. Okay. In addition, wearing of face masks or even personal protective equipment as a public health intervention would probably intercept the transmission. At least we prevent further transmission, but this one will not prevent us from having the COVID-19. This is just a preventive measure in order for us to be to prevent the spread, the immediate spreading of the virus, and also strengthening online learning platforms. So a lot of training has been made possible with the different institutions using Google, TV broadcast guidelines, resources, video lectures, and online channels. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Also, we have to integrate environment and health courses in the curriculum. So it's a must for us to train our audiences, our students or learners, not only for science-related majors, since everybody deals with environmental health problems. Okay, learning materials which are focused on environmental literacy can also be developed for utilization in classroom instructions and for training to a wider audience in the society. So these are called integration. Not necessarily we have to create a specific courses, rather we have to integrate this environment and health courses in the curriculum. So strengthen environmental policies and hygiene practices. So I'd like to focus on the hygiene practices, okay? Students should be or also be taught to gain knowledge and behavior practices on the prevention of infectious diseases. Like example of that would be hand washing, using sanitizers like alcohol every now and then, wearing face mask, okay? Especially with the opening of school, okay? We have to have this kind of protocol being at least posted within a specific institution, and we have to be very critical on this. Next slide, please. We also have to incorporate an online mental health. Again, as I have said, PUP is one of the institutions that was accredited by the Department of Health, if I'm not mistaken, and Psychological Association of the Philippines to cater for the mental health, not only for our students, also the faculty members, and of course, other referrals from other different institutions, okay? That was one of the mandate of the president of PUP to help other people, because this is one of the pressing situation that we have right now, okay? Especially depression and suicidal attempt for some. Also, we have migrate courses, align curriculum competencies, and scale up teachers training for online learning instructions. A lot of efforts that has been done in order for the teachers, including professors, to be trained on this so-called use of different learning instructions, and of course, the use of technology. By doing this, universities can expedite its response for continuous learning and stakeholders, again, with the use of technology. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, education sector is one of the highly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In the Philippines, where there are still growing COVID-19 infections as of now, and I'm really serious about this, as in now, it's not flattening any curve at all. It's increasing, dramatically increasing. Now, this was conducted by a local studies, presented some of the new normal situation in school setting. However, there were some post challenges and issues presented while recommending several approaches in the new normal. Schools at all levels therefore need to address these concerns and carefully evaluate plans and procedures on the implementation of the new normal. Collaboration is the most important. That's the reason why we really have to have a collaboration, okay? This is the time wherein we have to expand and enhance our linkages in order to get help, especially for those challenge institution. We should help form the post-COVID-19 education, stepping to the new normal. The challenge herewith is on how to provide and deliver quality education amidst exceptional times. And this calls for an exceptional times that we are being challenged. Like the COVID-19 pandemic, and on what extent are we going to become prepared? Are we really prepared when we had this? I don't think so, but we have to do something about it. When another crisis comes in the future, okay? And I think we have to learn from the crisis that we are experiencing right now. Next slide, please. And these are the recommendations, general recommendations for the local government units and school administrators, okay? Education system through the state's elementary, secondary, and tertiary education bureaus and agencies should be strengthened by putting education continuity plan in pandemic times. So we cannot stop educating students, okay? Pandemic is not the reason why we have to stop as one of its priority agenda. I'm talking about only for the education system. Adequate funding should be allotted. So Chad has been generous, giving us 15 billion. I hope that would suffice the need for giving quality education to our students. The development trainings of schools and its stakeholders to competently prepare for alternative modes of teaching and learning in anticipation of abrupt disruptions of regular school operations caused by serious biological hazard like pandemics. And last but not the least, to foster a supportive policy environment. Okay, is the government supportive enough to uplift and, of course, support our education system? You might want to ask that. And it's our, I think, right to ask them and to ask for further help and assistance. State policies down to regional and local laws and regulations should be reviewed and assessed, because not all policies are actually applicable. So we have to be very specific on what we are asking from the government, including funding, if they are still adequate to support programs, right? Then again, you have to ask them, are you supportive enough? That's all right. We have to ask them. And activities geared toward the improvement of education system to make it resilient. Okay, the word here is resilient in times of pandemics. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. Salamat po. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much, Prof. Adrian Guinto, for your presentation, for sharing us on how this Polytechnic University of the Philippines handle this situation, the pandemic COVID-19. As Sir Adrian mentioned, that we have similarities in Indonesia and the Philippines. We have similar in what are the problems or challenges that we are facing in this new normal. And as mentioned of Papa Syahrul also, some of the challenges is that not just only the internet connectivity, but also we have to take care also for the health of the lecturer as well. And now we will proceed to our next speaker. For our next speaker, we have here from Universitas Muhammadiyah Purworejo, Mr. Tusino, M.Pd.B.I. You may start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much for the moderators. Well, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, this is a great honor for me to present in this very special occasion, presenting a webinar talking about the COVID-19 issues to the impact of education for the higher education. well, the last thing here, what I'm going to present in this occasion, I'm going to talk deeply about how we strengthen the online learning for the higher education by seeing the benefit and also the challenges. Well, can I see my slide? Can I see my slide? Okay. We'll okay. We'll
I'm sorry, are you gonna operate it or do you want us to help you?
well, the last thing, I need your help to operate. Can you help me? Okay. Well, okay. I'm going to present about the practices among universities that they have done for doing online learning, particularly for my university. So how we strengthen online learning practices amid COVID-19 by seeing the benefit and also the challenges. Of course, when we talk about online learning practices, we are talking about two sides, that is the benefit and also the challenges. So we have to be aware of such kind of thing, dealing with such kind of online learning practices. Next, please. Well, it's not okay. This is not really important. I come from Universitas Muhammadiyah-Purworejo, Central Java Province. Next slide, please. Purworejo, for those who don't exactly about Purworejo, especially for my colleges, Prof. Adrian from PUB, and also those who have known Purworejo, those are Purworejo at a glance. So Purworejo for about located in Central Java, and 30 minutes from Jakarta International Airport. Those are the number of the students, the faculty members, the admin staff, and also we have collaborated with some universities from, especially from Southeast Asia, like Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and these also one of the implementation of our MOU with PUB. Okay, next please. Well, these are the faculties, the academic program that we have. So hoping that you know more about our university. We have 5 faculties with 15 programs, and we are growing universities, and we are trying to grow up with doing such kind of collaboration with other universities or other parties. Okay, next please, come to the point. Okay, those are our university activities before COVID-19. So everybody really needs such kind of thing in our universities. So we cannot interact each other without any concern about health, about COVID-19 others. But now we cannot do it anymore. So we have to think about how we work in the universities amid COVID-19. Okay, next please. Okay, let's talk about this point. COVID-19 outbreak hampers teaching learning activities in direct meetings, but accelerates education 4.0. Well, this is really a nice idea when we talk about COVID-19 outbreak. We really have a big problem for having face-to-face learning. But here, we are this kind of situation really accelerate education 4.0. Several years ago, we have discussed already about education 4.0, but we are not demanding and we are not forced about the situation. So we are not really implement such kind of education 4.0, which has characteristics with digital or cyber learning. We know about digital learning, but we are not so sure that we will do it for our teaching and learning process, and especially in higher education. But by having a COVID-19 outbreak, everybody is a must to do such kind of learning by using online learning. So we have to know the learning platform that we are using for having online learning. Then Professor Berhard Wengel says that corona outbreak has become a catalyst for education, encouraging the use of IT in distant learning. Well, again, this is a good challenge for every faculty members to use IT in this COVID-19 era. So this is a kind of catalyst. So we drive education. So everybody is supposed to use IT when they are going to teach their students. So that is the impact also about the online learning. However, the main problem here is if the teaching staff or the faculty member have not used equipment or online learning models before. They don't know about the learning platform, even they don't know how to apply the learning platform. And again, this is a big problem for every single faculty members dealing with their teaching and learning processes. Okay, so those are the highlight that we can underline when we are discussing COVID-19 outbreak by seeing teaching learning activities and also education 4.0. So we are migrating from what we call it tatap muka into tatap layar. So that is the point. So when we are teaching our students dealing with online learning activities. Next, please. Okay. Dealing with online learning teaching, the first thing that we have to consider is availability of learning materials. I think we have to see this kind of learning materials with the abundance of learning material that we can find from the internet resources. So we can use the existing resources from the digital or the internet by Google or other kind of learning platform that we can find the learning material that we can serve for our students. So that's the point of existing resources. However, if those kind of existing resources or material are not relevant or appropriate with the students, we can also use what we call it teacher-made learning materials. So the faculty members can create by having their own creativity, they are having module or handout to be used for the learning material given to the students. So here the teachers or the faculty members can both combine the existing material and also teacher-made materials. Okay, I'm going to talk specifically about our university, what we experienced and faced online learning during COVID-19, I think starting from March to June. Okay, when we talk about the learning facilities at Purworejo, we have a kind of Wi-Fi connection that everybody can use, every single student can use. However, by having COVID-19, the students only use at home. So even the faculty members can be seated at home for having teaching and learning processes. So the learning facilities are really upgrading for such kind of thing for the internet connection especially. The next about teaching staff aspect. Again, we're dealing with such kind of thing. We talk about the different age. By having a mini research, the different age really has connection with their ability in using IT. So that is the different age. So for about 55% under 40, and then 35% for our faculty members 40 to 50, and the rest about 10% is about above 50. So those who are 10% are really a big burdening for them to use online learning activities, even they have never before about the online platform for their teaching. Again, those are the aspects that we can consider. Then also the IT literacy and competency. Some faculty members have different ability to use. Some are very good, some are not really good, but the other are still poor. So those are also the rationale that we can see when we are going to apply such kind of online learning. And also the geography. Okay, Purworejo or Central Java is not a big city, so internet connection also still a big problem. Though we are in in Java, but also we get a problem in some part of our students and also the faculty members. Yeah. The other thing is about the student aspect by relating to the various geography, like the same thing what the faculty members face, and also the even the economic factors for dealing with internet connection, affording the internet connection. So those are the things that we have to consider dealing with a kind of online learning in our university. So these are the things to be considered. Next, please. Next, please. Okay. Um, these are the learning practices during COVID-19. Well, actually, our university has e-learning, but the e-learning is not really facilitate the teaching and learning process for the whole activities during COVID-19 period. So these are what we have done starting from March to June for the online learning practices. The first, I'm going to talk about the teaching program. Well, by considering different ability of using IT and also knowing the learning platform, so our universities before having kind of teaching and learning processes with the online learning, so the university management by using what we call it quality assurance institutions conducted workshop on online learning. So these a kind of thing to motivate also coach the faculty, all the faculty members to apply the learning platform, knowing the learning platform and how to use the learning platform. And these are the teaching platform models. According to the research done by what we call it LPM here, so those are the learning platforms the faculty members use. There are three main differences the faculty members use. The first is synchronous, the second asynchronous, and the last is combination between synchronous and asynchronous model. And the combination between synchronous and asynchronous models became the most used by the teaching staff or the faculty members. So the synchronous like Zoom, Google Meet, Webex, Microsoft Teams, and others, those are the faculty members used for the teaching and learning process, especially for delivering the materials in the beginning or in a pre-teaching before coming to the practices. And the asynchronous also, some faculty members use Google Classroom and then Moodle, WhatsApp, email, and YouTube channels. So the faculty members, they try to use the YouTube channel. They try uploading the videos, even they're making the video by themselves to be used by their students for the teaching and learning process. And again, the combination of synchronous and asynchronous models most applied by the faculty members in our university. Maybe this would be the same or different from other universities that use the learning platform models. Of course, there are 100 learning models that we can use, but those are they prefer for the learning platform. And for the post-teaching, for the teaching monitor through Google Form. So while after the faculty members conducted teaching and learning process, they directly have to fill in the Google Form evaluation to show what they have done, to show what they have done, also to reflect about their teaching and learning process, and this would be recorded by the institution. So the institution will know really what actually the faculty members did when they're teaching and learning process. So that is okay. Next, please. Okay, next, please. Okay, next slide. Okay. Sorry, back. Okay, back, please. Okay. These are also a report from our institution about teaching staff involvement related to teaching report in online learning. It's going to be a good involvement by comparing from March, April, and May. There is an increase of the teaching report in online learning. So it means the teaching staff involvement going to be better and better. So previously the faculty members are really a good and burdening problem for them, but by the time they know how, they feel comfortable about applying online learning teaching for their students in their virtual classroom. So it seems that the online learning is not a big problem again for the faculty members by knowing their involvement in their teaching and learning to be monitored by institution. Okay, next please. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to present to you all is about the online final project. I think it's going to be the same as others. Our universities is trying to do online final project like online Viva and others. So it's not a big problem for us to do online final projects. So by using learning platform like Google Meet or Zoom and others, even like online consultation is going to be something common nowadays for our universities. Okay, next about e-learning facilities. So during COVID-19 here, our universities is upgrading the e-learning facilities by having integrated learning management system. That what our university still struggling to build up our e-learning facilities, so that would be integrated, so could be monitored directly by the institution. And the other thing here, online project-based exam. So most the examination here is project-based. So because we are basically from education college, so the project-based exam are really prepared by the faculty members by giving a project to the students when they are having the final semester exam. Okay. And the fifth thing here is changing service delivery models. This also a kind of models that really changing from the previous activities from face-to-face into online services. So say for example, for those who are going to legalize the certificate holders, they don't have to come to the campus. They just by using online our online platform, and then they come to they upload their certificate, and the university management can serve what about the legalization, for example. And this is about online teaching practice for faculty of education. We are still managing to do online teaching practice in September, and we are going to follow the secondary school protocol assembly instruction. So we are going to have online teaching practice. So our students try to contact with the teachers in the senior high school, even the student from senior high school, by really online teaching practice. So we will not delay or postpone such kind of activity, but we still continue for this kind of activity for online teaching practice. But for the internship program, we still delay for internship program, like in a company or in other kind of business company. So that is about the online teaching practice. We still have a kind of thing in this September. So we do not have kind of postponement for this online teaching practice. Next, please. Okay. What I'm going to present next about the benefit and challenges by using the three parties for our universities. These are based on our research, talking about the students, the teaching staff, and also the management levels. So our institution try to know actually what are their expectation, what are their perspective related to online learning activities during COVID-19 here. So by having student perspective, teaching staff perspective, also the management level perspective. So hoping that by having this, we can improve together what they expect for the betterment, because I think with the next semester we still have to use in the new normal era. In the new normal era, we still have to use online learning in every activities for the university. Okay, next. Okay. The first about the benefits, according to the student here, the students perceive that the flexibility for learning, this is the most that they like about online learning. So actually the student also like the online learning because of flexibility for learning. And especially I like online learning because I can study at home. I don't have to go to campus, so I just stay at home, just having connection with internet. So that is about the flexibility for learning by having time and place. So that is about what actually the student have the benefit by having online learning. And the second one also the task management. Okay, it's about task management here. The students, uh, they don't, nowadays students really hard for having handwriting, but they like to have everything in digitally. So they like to computerize. So they want to submit the task computerized. So the task management also look to be manageable. So for example, when the faculty members or the teaching staff use Google Classroom, so they are they will like to know about computerized. So they submit the task computerizing rather than in handwriting. So everything is look manageable. They can check easily, and the faculty members can respond the students' task directly. So there will be a feedback directly from the teachers, even from the peer feedback that they can use, they can have directly. So the students can interact immediately by having a task from the teachers, from the faculty members, and also from the peers. Okay, the second one is about self-regulated learning by the students. Okay, when we talk about self-regulated learning here, students are really independent nowadays. Students are autonomous learners, so they have to know they are supposed to prepare what they have to set the goal by themselves, and they have to perform. They have to discuss with others. Even they have to be able to reflect their performance. So that is self-regulated learning. So but by having this kind of self-regulated learning, the students are really more independent and autonomous learners. So this also, we are trying to build their characters by having independent and autonomous learners. Okay, next about, I think everybody agree about more time for research and webinar by the teaching staff or faculty members. Well, I think the webinar now is a very booming, and we can have, even we can have a kind of seminars more than one a day if you want to join. So, but by this kind of COVID-19 activities, so we can have a kind of webinar. So I think we are lucky for having such kind of activities. And then the other benefit here is about online monitoring system. Well, by having COVID-19 pandemic, our university conducted online monitoring system. So in the past, we were still having offline monitoring, but now we are migrating to online monitoring system. That was really challenging, and also really good impact for the institution, because directly know the result and also the impact for uh, the improvement for the university quality. And the other thing here is about the saving budget. It's not also something that we can get by having the benefit, though not really a high impact to the university management, but the saving budget for a face. There are a lot of face-to-face activities that we have to migrate into online activities, and this thing also create and save the budget for the university also. Those are the benefits. Next slide. Okay, After having kind of a benefit, we come to the challenges. What are the challenges? I think quite the same as the previous speakers already presented, Prof. Adrian also, Mr. Syahrul, about the internet connection. I think everybody realized about this kind of thing. The internet connection become a big problem for some students who are really remote and they are not really in a good geography for the internet access. So they have to stay at home and they have to use internet connection. But in fact, the internet access is not really good and available for them. And the other one also the budget expenses. Also, some of my students talk about this one. They complain about the budget expenses for affording the internet access. So they have to spend some more of money to have the internet connection. The other challenges, this is for our faculty members about the integrated LMS. This what our university is struggling to have a good and integrated LMS for the next semester, so that there would be a connection between teaching staff and then the content or the material, and then the student or the administrator. They can have one forum. They can check and recheck together about their teaching and learning process during online activities. The other one is about student assessment. Well, what about this year's about the complex practical course? Some practical courses are really hard for to be conducted by some faculty members and those students, especially for engineering. If they have to go to campus, but in fact they cannot go to campus. So for the last semester, some practical courses cannot be conducted because they cannot go to campus, and the equipment must be in a campus. So we have to deal with this. However, for the next semester, dealing with the new normal era, so I think we can come to this kind of thing by asking the student to come to campus safely. So they come to campus by small groups, and then they can record their activities, and the faculty members can monitor and check their progress for the practical courses. These are about the student assessment. Even also how about the teaching and learning process is going to be a problem also for the practical courses. Maybe this thing to be considered later. And also, this also, rather than about the benefit, we have also perceived final appraisers. I think the university management got a problem with the final appraisers dealing with the fees and fees. Some students need also the postponement for paying tuition fee. Even the services provided by the university. Also, we need more about services. And the other thing is about the new student registration. The new student registration or admission also a big problem for our universities. Maybe also happen for some universities due to the pandemic year. So some students try to delay their enrollment, their admission to the university. So those are some challenges that we have to consider, and we can discuss later. Next, please. Okay. What I'm going to talk about the students' engagement in online learning. By having a research about student engagement here, in March, April, and May, it's going to be a really good result for the student engagement. In March, they have high positive engagement with 90%, but in April, come to 80%, and in May, it should be 75%. It means that there is something to be understood from this kind of result of the research. For the beginning, the students are really happy and they are motivated, they are interested for having online learning because this is something new for them to have online learning platform. But by the time their engagement going to be decreasing, they're going to be lower. So the thing that have to be considered by the faculty members, because it's not only about the technologies, not only about the learning platform, but how we use the learning platform. So it's going to be considered later why there is something here for our university and also maybe happened in other universities. Next slide. Okay, these are our solution that we can propose uh, for handling the problems. The first about university adjustment here. I think when we are in a COVID-19 period, March to May, of all faculty members work from home for the teaching staff and also shift work for the administrative staff. But now we come to the normal era. In the new normal era, the administrative can work at campus and also the teaching staff also can work at a campus, but the students still are supposed to be at home. And then we are also having online promotion and admission, fully online admission. So students just stay at home, they can register and apply for the enrollment. Okay, dealing with the assessment here, for the online exam, so the faculty members are offered to use personalized question when they're having online exam, because when we talk about online exam, it's dealing with plagiarism. So this kind of thing that we can use by personalized the questions, by having students' opinions, even they we may also use by other learning platforms. So there are a lot of learning platforms that you can create a quizzes with a different student with different questions. And the other thing here is upgrading learning management system for the next semester that we are struggling for this, and we were going to use this for the next semester. And the last is about providing continuous workshop on online learning models. By seeing the student engagement, there is something that we have to consider about their engagement, because in the beginning they have high engagement, but they're going to be decreasing their engagement. So it means the faculty members also need refreshment. They need a continuous workshop about online learning models. Again, learning models is only technology, but the main thing is about the pedagogy, how we use technology, how we deal with technology efficiently and effectively. So the combination between technology and pedagogy is really important to be successful in our teaching during online learning activities. Well, I think that's all what I'm going to present. So those are about what. Okay, I think those are only some pictures about our learning facilities. So we are migrating from past to the newest learning management system. These are our online admission. The other thing also, I think next please, I think there are some pictures about our social action to help our students. And the next, I think the last slide about, okay, next, okay, those are, yeah, like having disinfectant and there's for handling with the students and other parties in the universities for saving their health. Well, I think thank you very much for the opportunity. We welcome to all for the constructive criticism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bapak Tusino, for sharing your presentation and also sharing about the Universitas Muhammadiyah Purworejo. What do you have there, and also are you facing now, your challenges, and also sharing us what are the solutions that you did to answer the problems in your institution. And now we already done with our speakers, from first speaker to third speaker. We would like to say thank you so much to all the speakers for sharing your knowledge to all of us now. And now we will proceed to our question and answer. Actually, some of the speakers already answered the question through the via chat. And also here we still have some unanswered question, and please allow me to read this. So first we have question here addressed to Bapak Syahrul from Marvin Sergio. Good morning. Sorry, this one is in Indonesia. Please allow me to speak Indonesia. Good morning, saya Seriofanus Parvin dari Universitas Muhammadiyah Kupang. Saya ingin bertanya kepada pemateri 2, Bapak Syahrul. Pandemi COVID-19 menjadikan alasan untuk mahasiswa agar melakukan proses perkuliahan dengan online. Apa strategi Bapak sehingga materi yang diberikan kepada mahasiswa betul-betul dipahami oleh mahasiswa? Dan jika ada strategi, apakah strategi itu sudah mendapatkan hasil yang positif yang bisa dilihat dari nilai yang diperoleh mahasiswa? Terima kasih. So the question is asking for what is the strategy of Bapak Syahrul or the Universitas Muhammadiyah Kupang in handling this problem, since we are now in the online. So how do we know, or how sure are we that the students receive the materials or they understand the materials well? So how is the strategy? Kepada Bapak Syahrul, you may give your answer.
Okay, thank you. I think we have a strategy here that I done and such a private study. I face to face with my student, but sometimes, and after I give their material, I give a follow up. So the material, what the problem also. So I ask also with them, what you got their citation. So I think that I don't push to use an online learning with them because I just limited time, limited their online learning with them. Such like in face-to-face, this one strategy that I held. And also, I found that another strategy like in use a WhatsApp. This is one strategy that if I held in online learning like in Zoom, so I think very expensive and my student have no much money to buy this. And another thing that is yeah, I have no say that in this accurate do for me, but I just I'll try that. This is one way that we have do in a pandemic. So myself in Muhammadiyah University of Kupang, we just held in a private study just face to face with the student because online learning difficult to hold here. And I think that another, I share information with my friend. They are lecturer in several remote area in Indonesia. They get some also, like in Pak Tusino that he said that in internet connection is SM case and another. But my experience that in Java, I think they are better than in Timor. So I also experienced in Java and Sulawesi, they have better. But if you think about in Timor, we are good there, very bad the situation in pandemic. And I also will continue setting the same question with Mr. Abidin S.Pd Muhammadiyah Manokwari. I will also answer his question. And Manokwari, I think same case in NTT province. So we also put a strategy. And Sergio Panus Parapin, he's a teacher, and I think he can do it in door-to-door with his student. But I think you should control yourself because it is a dangerous also. And lectures, I think we can ask the student to face-to-face. This is one strategy if we stay in remote area, because don't to push a student use a technology because we have here still in got a problem. So I think just my answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bapak Syahrul. And now we have here one question again, another question from Mr. Paul Pascual. So this question already answered by Ibu Lili, but maybe we would like to hear some answers from other speakers. The question is, I would like to ask if the universities in Indonesia works with the private IT companies for free regarding to digitization of their respective institution. From Bapak Syahrul or Bapak Tusino, who would like to answer first? Is there any collaboration or support from the private IT companies with your university or institution? Because if I'm not mistaken, in Indonesia, there are some universities who are collaborating with Telkomsel. Some of university in Indonesia collaborating with Telkomsel, so they're giving around 2 gig, or if I forget how many gig for the students. So how about in Muhammadiyah? Is there any support or collaboration with the private IT companies?
Okay, thank you. Up to this time in our university in Purworejo, there is no, we haven't conducted collaboration for having the IT or telecom institution and others. So we are still planning for doing such kind of thing. But up to this time, we haven't got collaboration for managing the internet access for the students. Okay, I think that what I'm trying to explain for the university. Maybe Pak Sarul has different uh, fact and opinion.
We are also have same that have our collaboration with their like in telecom. That I think that this is a case if from a student, all my students that they have not stay in capital city, and most of my students they are from rural place and remote area here, and their hometown there is no internet connection and technology. And if you have a force to help online learning, I think it's not yeah. Sometimes if I help in online learning, just few my student join in my class, and when I ask them why did join in my class, they say that they have no internet connection and they have no package internet connection. And yeah, I think that in just my opinion that how to solve the solution that uh, if we stay in the city and like we are improve the how to increase their bandwidth. I think the bandwidth connection and internet in every campus, the how to will be uh, more better for divided their networking with our student to help without a face-to-face just online learning. But yeah, I think that depends of the policy of every university of Muhammadiyah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. How about in Polytechnic University, Prof. Guinto? Is there any collaboration or support from the private IT companies?
Actually, Paul is one of our collaborators right now. We just signed MOA with them last, I think, before the pandemic actually. Unfortunately, because of this pandemic, we weren't able to push through the proposal. So we asked Paul about the proposal, and it's actually he's working on the proposal, and we wanted him to propose a specific um, online platform that would cater for everyone, including if his IT tech team can provide us with that kind of technology, including those who cannot access the internet remotely. So, well, everyone has the access to cell phone, and basically, we do not tolerate such excuse that we don't have any resources or whatsoever that we cannot access to the internet. The very least that we can provide them is at least, if not, then we can do printed modules. Well, this is not this can't be tolerated if their reason is they don't have access to the internet. Basically, if you have cell phone and you have signal, that's good enough. All right. We'll have to assess because the university relying mostly on the feedback that these students can provide. And of course, we have to verify and back check if they're telling the truth. Okay, because this is a serious funding that the university is doing right now, and we're very serious about this because we want to deliver the best quality education. Okay, and again, as I have said a while back, we do not stop teaching them and providing quality education just because there is a pandemic. We have to innovate ourselves, and that's actually the job of university. We have to innovate and adapt to the possibilities that is pressing right now. That includes pandemic. And well, if Paul will become very successful on his proposal, including his technology, he's laughing right now. We can possibly um, share his technology to you. That's how exactly this webinar is all about: sharing, innovation, and of course, linkages, right? And we're lucky because Paul is a graduate of PUP and he's more than willing to help the university, and he's giving back exactly what we need from him. And the challenge for you guys is also, as those students who graduated from your university, give back. That's actually what we wanted them, all right? Give back to university, give back to the government, because it's a free education for PUP, and this is a state use. So we're not asking so much from them. Rather, you give back and help so that you become an inspiration to other students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And now we have another question addressed to Pak Tusino from Miss Luciana Dewi Kusumayati. Based on the Indonesian curriculum for Polytechnic, each lesson should consist of 50% theory and 75% practice. Do you have any tips or strategy to make English lesson interesting and effective to meet the standard of curriculum?
Okay, thank you very much for the time. For the questions, I think going to be really nice question. It's about the Polytechnic. Okay, we talk about the practice, about the practical courses. So how to make the interesting teaching and learning process in English lesson? Well, for the theory, we can use a different learning platform. Say, for example, like what I presented earlier, we can combine synchronous and asynchronous. For example, for the theoretical thing, we can use learning platform like Google Meet to meet the students for about 10 until 15 minutes for delivering the material, for explaining the goal of learning. And then after that, they have to do something. And for that thing, they have to submit it online. So this for the theory. And for the theoretical thing, the faculty members or the teachers can use the existing resources so that they can download the material from the internet or other kind of media and serve to the students. That is what about the materials. Another thing about the method of learning or the approaches, so the faculty members are really forced to use different kind of learning models. They can use, for example, problem-based learning or other kind of thing. And for the practical courses, that thing that should be considered highly for the practical courses, because the Polytechnic is different from university. Most or more are on the practice. Again, for example, the teachers or the faculty members ask the students to stay at home if there is equipment. If there is no equipment in the new normal period, they can ask the students to go to campus individually or in a small group, and then they do the practice and they record what they have done. So they record what they have done, and the teachers or the faculty members monitor what the students are doing in a campus. So recording. So they record their activities and they're saying they're recording to their faculty members or the teachers. So that is about the practices. Another thing we can use, actually, we can use flipped classroom model. The flipped classroom model, such kind of, we serve the material before. We serve the videos or the module or the kind of learning materials before the students come to the virtual class. So they can learn first, they can learn something, and on the class, they directly present, they practice what they have learned before. So by using flipped classroom model. So the method, there are many methods that we can use as a teachers to motivate the students, to make the student interested. Well, I think as my presentation about the students' engagement, there is something going to be a decrease for the engagement. So that's about not about technology actually. It's about the model of learning or the learning model that the teachers can use. Okay, I think that is my answer.
Thank you so much, sir, for the explanation.
Okay. So the main point here, we have to simply we have to improve the students' affective and then cognitive and also psychomotoric, because these are what the practical courses in the Polytechnic need about the heart, the hand, and also the head. So the hand must be really considered highly by the teachers, for the English teachers, for the psychomotoric or the hand. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Again, if you have any question to our speakers, you may type it in the Q&A, or some of the participants now are in the panel, are panelists. So if you want to ask direct a question, you may just raise a hand and you may start asking. Do we have any here? Apakah ada yang ingin bertanya secara langsung? Kami persilakan bagi yang sudah ada di bagian panelis. Apakah ada yang ingin bertanya?
Yang baru nanti akan kita coba simulasikan di belakang.
Do you have any other question here? Okay, if none, we would like to inform everyone that we already shared the link for the e-material in the chat box. And then also we share another link for the attendance list and also for the certificates. So we're hoping kindly fill up the form and also just click the Google Drive for the e-material. So if there's no more question, we would like to say thank you very much again to all the speakers, to Bapak Syahrul, to Sir Adrian Guinto, to Bapak Tusino, and also to Ibu Lili Nurlaili. Thank you so much. Before we close this webinar, we would like to hear some message from Dr. Lili Nurlaili.
Ada pertanyaan tadi saya dibaca, Bu.
Okay. Thanks all of the speaker and all of the participants today. I'm very happy because this webinar is very useful for education after pandemic. I hope the new activities for the new class, a new year class, is more effective and more cleanliness, and then they are worried about they are using masker. I mean, they are every day using masker. Don't forget sanitizer. Don't forget to not going anywhere with the protocol and something else. That is very important. We are open the new school because in Indonesia right now maybe 8% is already open class, and then university too, but it is special for the green area. I mean, we have yellow, red, and green, but we have already black too because a lot of the pandemic there. But if the open school just for the green area is already open, is 8% maybe. And for this seminar, I will closing, and then we still have a discussion with you, Professor Adrian Guinto, together with several activities with the Muhammadiyah, from Muhammadiyah. And for all the participants, I just thank you again, and then we are closing, and then we are clap together. Terima kasih, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Ibu Lili, and thank you so much to all the participants who attended this webinar. And tomorrow we have another webinar, so we encourage everyone and invite everyone to join our next webinar. Again, thank you so much to all and have a nice day.
Yeah, and then Adrian Guinto, and then several academy from Muhammadiyah want to discuss with you about the more activity to actual or practice after the MOU. Pak Adam, mana Pak Adam?
Thank you very much, Bu Lili. Actually, Pak Adam just asked me to handle these discussions. I'm Jordan from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta.
Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. So
Yes, please,
first of
Jordan.
all, yeah, right. Thank you, Pak Adam. So first of all, allow me to thanks to Dr. Nurlaili and also Professor Suandi Hamid from the Council of Higher Education, Research and Development of Muhammadiyah Central Board, and also Professor Adrian, and also all the colleagues from Indonesia and also the Philippines. So before presenting about the future cooperations that we can do between Muhammadiyah, Indonesian sides and also the Philippine sides, let me just introduce some brief information about our associations. So now I'm presenting our associations, the Muhammadiyah Associations for International Office. So these associations are actually under control of Council of Higher Education of Muhammadiyah under Professor Edi Suandi Hamid, and then now we have about 70 international office of from 163 Muhammadiyah higher educations across Indonesia. So for your information, we are maybe already knows about the existence of Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah is the biggest modern Islamic movement in Indonesia with about 50 million followers. And then we now have about 163 higher educations in Indonesia. Then among those 163 higher education, there are some activities already done among Orbit Win University in the Philippines and also Muhammadiyah higher educations. We can say, like, for example, we have a double degree with Mindanao State University, Iligan, and also we have a student exchange with Ateneo de Manila, and also exchange program between Universitas Muhammadiyah Professor Dr. Hamka in Jakarta with Mariano Marcos State University, and also Untas Muhammadiyah Pontianak with Don Mariano Memorial State University, and also Far Eastern University, and then Pangasinan State University, and other activities that are already done by Muhammadiyah and also university in the Philippines. We do hope that we can have more collaborations, and then we can discuss here. I also accompanied by some colleagues as the management of the associations. We have Pak Saprudin, we have Pak Bahrun, and also Pak Purnama, and then Bu Nurul in the management of the association. Also, all the colleagues from Muhammadiyah Educations who attended this discussion, I think also may deliver the idea on what we can do for the future collaborations between university in the Philippines and also Muhammadiyah educations. So I think that's a little bit information and also reference for Professor Adrian to just consider on what we can do in the future and what we can offer for making these collaborations going to be something very fruitful in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Jordan Gunawan. Okay, before we proceed to our next part, which is the discussion about between the universities and Muhammadiyah and also the Philippines, we would like to say thank you very much to all the participants. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. And again, we would like to remind everyone that if you don't have or got this link in the chat box, before you leave, kindly copy the link we shared, the link for the materials and also the link for the attendance list and also for the certificates. Please don't forget to copy the link, and then you just have to fill up the form certificates, and you just have to download for the e-materials. Again, for the participants,
Mbak Manet, sebelumnya mungkin saya tanya dulu Pak Adam, ada lagi yang mau dibahas sebelum ditutup semuanya?
Ibu, ini cuma mau saya yang...
Oke, ya, sorry.
So all the participants, thank you so much again for attending this webinar. And sorry, but the next part will be the discussion between the University of the Polytechnic University and the administration or faculty from the Universitas Muhammadiyah. And my request all the participants to please don't forget, copy the link we shared in the chat box before leaving this. Again, kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua peserta yang sudah mengikuti webinar, dan kami akan melanjutkan ke bagian berikutnya, yaitu diskusi antara Universitas Politeknik dan bagian administrasi atau from the organisasi Muhammadiyah. Jadi sebelum para peserta, Bapak dan Ibu meninggalkan Zoom meeting ini, jangan lupa untuk dan paste atau copy link yang sudah kami berikan di bagian chat box, link untuk e-material dan juga link untuk sertifikatnya. Sekali lagi terima kasih untuk semuanya yang sudah mengikuti webinar ini. Thank you so much for the participants.
Thank you.
If you're done copying the link, you may leave the Zoom meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Our pleasure.
Professor Adrian, please waiting. We have a new discussion. Just 10 minutes maybe. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
For the next program, it will be only the from the Polytechnic and also from the administrators from the Universitas Muhammadiyah. Okay, we still have another question here regarding the link. We will share again the link for the attendance and certificate. We only have one link for it, so we only share two links. Yes, in the chat box, attendance certificate, and also the link for the materials. Okay. So for the participant, please copy the link and allow us to take your leave. So from us, we will keep some. We will ask other participants to leave the Zoom meeting. Maybe from Bapak Jordan, who else are gonna joining this from Universitas, so we can know who will be attending and who.
Yeah.
Yes, or maybe some who would from the Universitas Muhammadiyah raise their hands who will attending Bapak. Just and others maybe we can speak or ask them to leave this Zoom meeting. Siapa saja yang akan ikut, Bapak Yordan?
Saya kira tidak ada masalah. Tadi saya sudah sampaikan beberapa sahabat akan mengikuti ini. Tapi kalau misalnya nanti dari Universitas Muhammadiyah lainnya mau mengikuti juga tidak masalah.
Oke. Persoalannya.
So we also allow other colleagues from other Muhammadiyah universities actually. So. We have some colleagues from the associations actually, Pak Saprudin and also Pak Bahrun, Bu Nurul, and also Pak Pramudana and Pak, sorry, forget the name, Pak oh goodness, from Muhammadiyah, Professor Dr. Hamka. But if other colleagues also would like to join this discussion, I think it will be no problem for us, since we are very open with the about what we can do for the cooperations in Muhammadiyah. Like Pak Syahrul or Pak Tusino remains there, I think it's not a problem for us, because I think maybe we can find something in the discussion, so we can also open for them to make future collaboration under Muhammadiyah. Yeah, that's my comment.
Yes, Bapak. Thank you so much. So dari Bapak Tusino, Bapak Syahrul, if this is okay, as of now we still have 70. So if we start is it okay if we can start the next part, which is the discussion for the possible collaboration?
Yeah, okay.
Are we okay now? So I guess Ibu Lili.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I just want to mention about our discussion together with Pak Adam Jerusalem yesterday night, and then they need more extension for the implementation MOU between 30 University of Muhammadiyah. What kind of the implementation? As I mentioned before, for example, maybe we can make research online, not only for education, but maybe for economy, for farming, or for the nursing, for everything. What the subject matter or faculty do you have at PUP? And then this morning, one of the speaker said that he already have a journal and he need revise or he need reviewer from PUP. Maybe you can asking to the Department of Research at PUP, and then we can give more explanation what kind of the review and what the credit they have after their after PUP is reviewed their journal. And then what else after the journal is already done. And another they need about the English camp, the PUP. What kind or PUP already have activities English camp online or not? I don't know. Maybe we can discuss, or you can asking to the university PUP. Do you have activity English camp online? And then Muhammadiyah is follow or join with this activity. And when the activity, because we don't know when the university is open. For example, maybe little university is already open, and then the PUP maybe it's already open, but just only faculty. Okay, Professor Adrian, please, sir.
Hi, everyone. So just to give you an idea, since the university, it was scheduled, and fortunately, it was scheduled in August, this coming August. But to our surprise, the CHED decided that it has to be extended on September. So doing that could possibly give the university time to prepare. Right now, in order to address the internet connection issue, like the Wi-Fi or the internet, the university encourage all the colleges, including the faculty members, to come up with a module which is to be printed and possibly distributed to the remote places and for those students who cannot access the internet. So since the university has what we call ability to do that, so we are actually compliant right now. We're doing great efforts on how to translate some of our subjects into an instructional material, and of course the module. So it will be complied or compiled depending on the college. Of course, this is college case to case basis, and it will be I think the PUP will be spending for the printing of these materials, which will be distributed. Now, it has two options. For those who cannot access the internet, it will be distributed remotely. I don't know exactly how the university will do it, but they are funding the printing. Okay, possibly they will be doing some courier thing. And of course, the other one will be uploaded to the internet for the students to access. Of course, how we manage to do this? We rely on feedback for some students or to our students exactly how we're going to go through about this, because um, there are a lot of complaints that was raised regarding the issue on the internet connections. Okay, now this is only evident away from the city, which is Metro Manila. Okay, so that's one step. Now, the other steps would be dependent on exactly how are we going to push through with this. Now, if this becomes highly effective on September, then we are going to innovate furthermore. But for now, we have to address the opening of the classes in September, whether online or offline. So that's exactly how we're preparing right now. So we still have 1 month to prepare regarding this. It's a tedious process, mind you, because there's no significant mandates or specific guidelines that was given to us by CHED. All right, it is a proactive measure being done by the university. Just in case there will be a guidelines, then we'll just have to tweak or modify those modules that was created prior to the implementations of the guidelines. So we have to do proactive measures ahead of time, because PUP caters for a lot of students. In fact, thousands of students. And not only that, we're not only talking about the main campus. We're also taking into considerations of the different branches. For all you know, PUP has 21 branches within the Luzon and also the Visayan part, which happens to be a bit remote area from the main campus. So that's how the instruction material and the module should be unified and uniform, that caters for the different subjects. I'm talking about different subjects from the different colleges within PUP. That's one step. Actually, that's what we're doing. And of course, since we are bounded by academic freedom, so anything goes for as long as you can deliver properly the subject to your students. So that's one step that we're doing right now. Right now, actually, we're so pressed in doing this kind of modules. So there. Regarding partnerships, by the way, again, I'm not the rightful person, but I can help you. Since this is an international affair, course through. I'll help Professor Bien course through this information. What we need from you is a good proposal, because that proposal will be further scrutinized or perused by our Vice President for Research and Extension. Whatever is in there, it has to be highly specific. Okay, if it's for English class, then it has to be just for the English class, and what exactly you need that we can provide, because we need to assess first if and only if we have this ability to help you. But definitely, we are more than willing to help, provided that the proposal is highly specific. And of course, why do we need to undergo specific tedious processes? Because these are protocols and we want to protect both interests. Okay, because at the end of the day, we are going to sign an MOU or MOA to provide specific linkage and to establish a very good relationship from each other. And of course, whatever we have here in PUP, okay, all right, as I've said a while back, we are more than to share exactly what we have, right, in order for us to strengthen the bond between universities. Okay, so there. And of course, by the help of Dr. Lili, right? who's been very supportive in our university. Actually, in fact, he's very active in our university. So I have to commend her efforts, great efforts on this. Once we polish that, then we're good to go. It's just that we have to understand that it's a time of pandemic and we are being refrained from doing, physical activities, meeting each other. Okay. So there.
Okay, maybe more information or discussion from Muhammadiyah, what you need. The important thing, they want to know about doctoral degree online or university open university from PUP.
Yes,
Maybe
ma'am.
it's very interesting for them take the doctoral degree using online, because I'm already have just only a little bit information from Professor Rolando Quinones.
Yes, ma'am.
They have open university online for doctoral degree and only 2 years. But I don't know how many credit and how much they must paying, and then the accreditation from Indonesian Ministry of Education.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to cascade this to Professor Bien because she manages all the international affairs activities. Perhaps we can give you the full details of this inquiry in print, ma'am. I just need to whom I'm going to channel all the full details of the courses that you need from us. I just only need one person, and then it can be distributed. If you want, we can have an email blast for you to have this information, because right now, because this is just new and newly approved course in PUP, it's good that we have this because it's an online thing, so you don't have to worry about going in and out of our countries. So to whom exactly would you want me to send the full details of that specific inquiry, so that you'll be you get to have knowledge about this courses, and perhaps we can have another webinar for those interested, and we're more than willing to enroll, so that the director for the Open University will further educate you on exactly how the protocols should be.
Okay, maybe it's better you can sharing to me. You can send it to me, and then
Yes,
I will
ma'am.
sharing to all university in Indonesia and included Muhammadiyah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, can I use the Office of the International Affair through Professor Bien, so that there is a proper cascading of information and protocols? But don't worry, I can assure you the important details that you need. It will be in full details, ma'am. Okay, I just need her office because that's exactly how it should be coming from the international affairs, ma'am.
Okay, and then maybe Dr. Jona Carla is sent to Bapak Adam Jerusalem, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
he will share to all of the university Muhammadiyah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, can I ask, ma'am, do you have a specific timeline for me to accomplish that specific inquiry of yours the soonest possible?
Yeah, as soon as possible,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I'm already request from several months ago to Professor Rolando, but because of the COVID, the university is still closing, and then he is not have explanation or detail about that doctoral open university.
Yes, ma'am. Everything is noted. I'm taking down notes regarding your inquiry, and we'll get back to you as soon as we already secured the full details of the program that you need, including everything that you need from the university, including this newly approved program, doctoral program.
Okay, maybe much more information from University Muhammadiyah. Misalnya mau tanya tentang bagaimana kerjasama penelitian, nanti bisa saya fasilitasi penelitian online itu lewat online juga. Jadi seperti ini, tapi kita bagi dalam berbagai penelitian. Misalnya penelitian dalam bidang ekonomi, kemudian dalam bidang bisnis, pariwisata, atau yang lainnya. Nah, mungkin di sini Pak Yordan sebagai juru bicara bisa menjelaskan seperti apa penelitian yang diharapkan, karena di PUP ini ada khusus fakultas ataupun bidang yang menangani penelitian, terutama penulisan jurnal Scopus.
Ya, terima kasih Bu Lili. So Adrian, actually we, as the representative of International Office of Muhammadiyah Higher Education, allow me to explain to you that actually based on the regulations of the Minister of Higher Education of Republic of Indonesia, the collaboration between the universities across the world should be implemented by having some activities such as like student exchange and also faculty exchange, and then research collaboration itself. So what we need is how about the what is the requirement, and also how we can do student exchange program between Muhammadiyah universities and also your university, aside of the faculty exchange. For research collaborations, of course we need it, since we know as academic we need many publications, especially for Indonesians. They need to achieve the top level of the teaching process as a full professor, I mean. So they need the publications in the high reputable university. So what you can suggest us on these things from your university side? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, Mr. Adam. This is the job of the international affairs. Of course, we have specific protocols in sending students, including faculty members. And of course, they have to be cleared under the legal department. But if you want, I can also send you the full details on how we go through about this. Regarding research, we have specific individuals who has been certified and qualified to do peer review regarding some of our researches made here in the Philippines. I'll just have, because I'm, juggling between two different offices, the international affairs, everything goes in there. And of course, from there, we'll just have to clear everything, and then we'll channel you back to another office, which is but don't worry, we'll help you go through with this. I'm just trying to explain everything so that you don't get confused, because you might be receiving different protocols, including inquiries as to what is this, how it's gonna be, because these two offices will be asking for specific, documents to verify all the legitimacy of this transactions. But don't worry, because this is just a normal protocol, especially dealing with foreign countries, including universities. All right. So again, the proposal is very important, exactly what you really want from us, so that we can assess fully how are we going to help you with this one. But in terms of research, possibly we can do that. In terms of exchange students and faculty members, in as much as I wanted to go there, well, the main reason I don't have to explain on that. Pandemic is the one that's actually preventing us from doing that. But technically, we have program for exchange students and faculty members. It's just that this time, it would be a challenging efforts on how to encourage them to go out of the Philippines. But definitely we have program. Don't have to worry about it, okay? Well, just to give you an idea, it's another MOU or perhaps MOA to establish for us to have a legal legitimacy of this specific program. And of course, the program will tell us exactly what it should be, okay? So we're hitting two birds right now, right? I'm actually taking this down so that I can fully discuss this to Director BN regarding the matter, because everything goes through a specific scrutiny and perusal of the documents, whether or not the university will allow it. Okay, so it's not about us. in as much as I wanted to help you, it's the administration that has the final say on this matter. But technically, we can persuade them. I will help you. We will help you to persuade them.
Thank you very much.
It's just that the pressing situation right now, you have to understand, is the pandemic. And technically, the focus right now is to deliver quality education. But don't worry. These offices are still highly functional and more than willing to help you guys. Okay, so I'm taking I'm taking notes on this, and whoever is the key person, perhaps the Director Jonah will be keeping in touch with this a conversation, and then full details will be given to you. Anyway.
Yeah, right. I have another perspective on this bizarre situations, actually.
Okay.
Since I,
All right.
actually, we have many cooperations with many universities in the world, and then because of, in this pandemic, we also send the students like to Spain and Poland or US, and they use the virtual or a semester actually, and then we can handle it now. Then we also create this virtual class for all the foreigner as who would like to come to our university. So this is the idea that I don't know that you are not the person who handle this specific works, but I do hope that you can deliver my
definitely
statement on this kind of situations, right? Yeah,
yes,
thank you very much, Adrian. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Definitely, it will be delivered to you, because also I'm handling MOA, MOU in terms of partnership. It's just that the partnership is a different thing because it's an international thing. I'm handling local partnerships. So actually, I'm doing just the same thing. It's just that the protocol calls for a specific office that would cater. But definitely, the Director John and I will help you on this. Actually, we're in need of exchange students and faculty members, including collaborations. I don't know exactly how we're going to go through with this because of pandemic, but definitely we are more than willing to do the partnerships with you. Rest assured, we'll help you.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe other colleagues like Pak Eka, Pak Saprudin, Pak Purnama, or Pak Pram or Bu Nurul would like to also add some informations.
Ada tambahan lagi dari yang lain? Kalau tidak ada, kita tutup acara ini karena di Filipina sudah jam,
saya kira cukup, Bu.
Ya, sudah jam 1 waktunya makan, Profesor Adrian.
Ya, makasih Bu Lili ya. Oke. Tadi itu Pak Yordan Ketua Asosiasi KUI-nya, jadi dia orang yang tepat untuk membahas kolaborasi itu, Bu.
Oke, nanti Pak Yordan minta nomornya ya, Pak Adam.
Ya, nanti saya kasih nomornya Mas Yordan.
Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Yeah.
Prof. Adrian, maybe that is enough. I'm already talked with Doc Jonah, and then this meeting is already done. Thank you very much, and we
You're
are
welcome.
all of the video. Thank you again, Profesor Adrian Guinto.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Terima kasih Pak Adam, Pak Yordan.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Tusino, Pak Saprudin, Pak Syahrul.
Thank you very much, Prof. Adrian, Bu Lili, dan seterusnya.
Apa tadi maraming. Apa tadi maraming.